Hey, this will be a video chart on the XLF, which is a ETF for the financial sector, one of the many tools you can use to trade the entire sector as a whole if you choose to do that. It's the one chart I watch to monitor the financial sector. There's others you can use, but I find the XLF to kind of be the universal one that most people use. And with today's action being pretty crazy, looking down here at the volume bar, you can see massive volume. And one thing I've noted is 3:42 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you do see the price over here change and volume going up, that is because the day is still open. But for pretty much argument's sake, the chart is kind of complete enough to where I can kind of talk about the points I want to. But regardless, the Dow's down just over 100, so it's come back a little bit from the lows. But a rough day for the markets overall, and pretty much driven by the financial sector. And here's the chart. I want to get this broken down quickly, and that way we can kind of have an idea of what to be paying attention for. So like I said at the beginning of the video, the key thing to kind of see here is this volume, huge volume, and unfortunately this big volume is happening on a down day. Now if this were a nice green day, this would be beautiful, but that's just not the case. Overall, the chart is still intact. The uptrend is still, very strong. What makes me say the uptrend is strong? Well, if we look at our two longer-term moving averages, the 50-day and 200-day, you can see that both of them have nice positive slopes to them, so showing that the overall context is bullish. Now, with today's action, it's going to be kind of a neutralizer in the short term. That is, you can see this blue line here. That's the 10-day simple moving average. Looks like we'll probably close below it. The one encouraging sign with today's action was, yes, the price did drop below this gold line, which is the 20-day simple moving average, but we were able to get a nice bounce back from it, and looking like we'll close above it. This is kind of the key thing, though, the 20-day. This blue line, yeah, it's important, but really, if we get closes below this gold line here, that's where we might see more of a deeper type pullback. The past 2 days have been red, but that's no big thing. Had a few red days here, and then you can see what happened. So I'm not really concerned in terms of short-term movement even now. As long as the 20-day holds, then we should be okay. The most recent example being over here, if we look and see what happened the last time we closed below this line, you can see we had this pullback here. Once again, nothing huge as we've been getting a nice move off of that. But if we do get a close below the 20-day, I'd expect it to probably come down here and at least test the 50-day. And if that happens, I'd look for an overall pullback in the markets. Nothing severe, not like it'd be a long-term pullback or anything like that. But with a close below this, as history shows us, it'll probably be a deeper pullback than rather just a 1 or 2 day type thing like's been happening in the past, month and a half. So that's where the chart stands right now from a support standpoint. In terms of resistances, really the only resistance is the previous high as we've been chugging along nicely. But the key thing to keep eye on this upcoming week will just simply be the volume and the price action. Volume, we want it to drop off. That is, if it keeps falling, if the price keeps dropping, the lower the volume is, the better. That way it'll show that selling is starting to ease up. But the worst thing we'd want to see is, big volume bars like this continue while the price goes down. So if the price goes either sideways or down, let's make sure that the volume drops on those days. The lower the better on those sorts of days. Now, if it decides to head back upwards, big volume bars are fine. But with anything other than going upwards, we want volume to really drop off to show that things aren't too bad. Now it looks like we're getting a little bit of a push here going into the final 15 minutes. Let's check out the 5-minute chart real quick. You can see that we've come down here nicely in our China round back up. We'll maybe head back up here. But as is always, Friday going into the weekend, things can get kind of crazy, as you can see here. But we'll have to see what happens. Let's go back to the daily chart. A close above the 10-day would be nice, but with the amount of volume today, it's going to be pretty rough regardless. But next week will be key, mainly just to see what happens with the volume and price action. So if there are any other questions on the chart, shoot me a message and let me know. If not, I'd encourage you to check out bullwarriorstocks.com. If you go there and sign up for the free newsletter, you'll be sent a free complimentary ebook. And then with your newsletter subscription, you'll get chart setups, trade ideas, educational pieces, all sorts of things, from big boards down to penny stocks. So there's a good variety, something for everybody, and it's all free. We've been making some good money together, so I'd encourage you to at least give it a try and check it out. One last time, this was the XLF, which measures the financial sector. Thanks for listening, and have a good weekend.